What if I told you that in 1998, police had a piece of evidence so obvious, so glaring, that it could have stopped a serial killer in his tracks? They held it in their hands, documented it, and then filed it away. This changes everything we thought we knew about the River Valley murders. Right now, as we speak, there are cold case files sitting in evidence rooms across the country containing clues that could solve decades-old mysteries. The River Valley case isn't just history, it's a warning. Because what happened in 1998 could be happening today. And the most terrifying part? The evidence was there all along. Police had everything they needed to connect the dots after the second victim, Sarah Mitchell, was found on March 14, 1998. But they missed it. We're going to walk through exactly what they had, piece by piece, and show you how close they came to stopping a killer who would go on to claim 3 more lives. Let's start with what police found at the very first crime scene. On January 22, 1998, the body of 24-year-old Emma Carter was discovered near the old railroad bridge. The medical examiner noted something peculiar, a specific type of soil embedded in her shoes that didn't match the crime scene location. It was a rare clay composition found in only one area of River Valley, the abandoned brick factory on the east side. Detectives logged it as environmental transfer and moved on. But here's where it gets interesting. When the second victim was found just 6 weeks later, she had the exact same soil on her clothing, same composition, same rare clay. 2 victims, 1 geographical connection. That should have been a red flag the size of a billboard. But wait, it gets even more obvious. Now let's talk about the witness. 3 days after the second murder, a night security guard named Michael Torres came forward. He reported seeing a man acting suspiciously near the brick factory on the night Sarah Mitchell disappeared. Torres gave a detailed description. A white male, approximately 6 feet tall, driving a dark blue pickup truck with a distinctive dent on the passenger side door. He even provided partial license plate numbers. But here's the kicker. Police already had that truck in their system. It had been ticketed for illegal parking near the first crime scene just hours before Emma Carter's body was found. 2 separate pieces of evidence pointing to the same vehicle. But detectives dismissed Torres as an unreliable witness because he had a minor criminal record. They never even ran the partial plate through the system. And if you think that's bad, just wait until you hear about the physical evidence they collected but never tested. This is where the story takes a truly shocking turn. Under the second victim's fingernails, forensic technicians found skin cells. Not just any skin cells, they found enough material for a DNA profile. This was 1998, DNA testing was available, and this was a serial murder investigation. Standard procedure would be to rush that evidence to the lab. But here's what actually happened. The sample sat in an evidence locker for 47 days before anyone submitted it for testing. 47 days. During that time, the killer struck again. Victim number 3, Jessica Miller, was murdered on day 32 of that waiting period. When the results finally came back, they matched a man named Robert Hayes, a local construction worker with no prior violent offenses. But by then, Hayes had already claimed his 4th victim. And here's the most frustrating part. If they had processed that DNA immediately, they would have had Hayes in custody before Jessica Miller was ever targeted. But the story gets even more bizarre.
Now let's look at the timeline. The murders occurred on specific dates: January 22nd, March 14th, April 25th, and June 7th. At first glance, they seem random, but a junior analyst named Lisa Chen noticed something everyone else missed. Each date fell on a Thursday following a full moon. Every single one. When she brought this to her superiors, they dismissed it as coincidence. But here's what they didn't consider. Robert Hayes worked a construction job that paid every other Thursday. He had documented financial troubles. Bank records later showed he made large cash deposits the day after each murder. The pattern was there. The lunar cycle, the pay schedule, the financial motive. 3 separate connections that, when viewed together, painted a clear picture. But investigators were looking at each piece in isolation. They had the puzzle pieces, but refused to put them together. And this brings us to the most mind-blowing revelation of all. Here's the truth that will haunt you. Robert Hayes was actually interviewed by police after the second murder. He was brought in for questioning on March 20th, 1998, 6 days after Sarah Mitchell's body was found. Detectives spoke to him for 45 minutes about his whereabouts. He claimed he was watching football at a sports bar. And here's the unbelievable part. The bartender from that sports bar had called the tip line 2 days earlier to report that Hayes had been asking strange questions about the murders. That call was logged, assigned a case number, and then filed. Never followed up on. So police had Hayes in the interrogation room. They had a witness who could contradict his alibi, and they had physical evidence waiting to be tested. All at the same time.
3 separate threads that, if pulled, would have led directly to him. But each piece was handled by a different department, filed in a different system, investigated by different detectives. The left hand literally didn't know what the right hand was doing. Hayes walked out of that police station a free man, and within weeks, he killed again. The system had everything it needed to stop him, but the evidence fell through the cracks between jurisdictions, between departments, between priorities. So here's what I want you to think about. How many cases right now are sitting cold because evidence is waiting to be connected? How many patterns are going unnoticed because no one's looking at the whole picture? The River Valley case teaches us that sometimes the truth isn't hidden, it's just filed in the wrong place. If this story made you question how investigations work, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because next week we're diving into another case where the evidence was there all along, a disappearance where the answer was in plain sight for 15 years. Until then, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the most important clues are the ones everyone can see, but nobody connects.